why Anna is looking to implement green approaches to manufacturing. So, anybody have any ideas why Anna wants to go green, so to say? Parker?
It just makes the company look better socially. That they're doing something to help protect, the environment.
What's the buzzword there?
Social responsibility.
Corporate social responsibility, yeah.
Like, we don't know about the competition, but there was that first movers thing that we were talking about the other day that could really be beneficial to RDB if they were the first to jump on that.
First mover's advantage.
Yep.
Okay.
See, I also talked about the social responsibility and the corporate image, and then I also mentioned RBD is getting a lot of pressure from the interest groups for the high pollution around their factories, so kind of get the interest groups off their back, and then way to get ahead of their competition, the UAB and FIB, and it could also reduce their overhead costs, like if they ran on wind power, electricity, or sun, anything, it'd reduce their overhead costs possibly, and then yes, so.
Let me add too, this would be a great place to really talk about promotions, PR, to really give a marketing plug here. Because that's what a lot of businesses are doing, is using the green engineering as more of a promotional piece.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then question 2, evaluate the advantages and disadvantages of Anna not working her way up from the company floor and instead receiving her MBA and starting in the engineering department.
The disadvantage of it is that she doesn't get to feel that maybe family feel working on the floor of RDB, kind of like her dad, appreciates how it's a family, or and she doesn't get to appreciate the workers and
The
how
corporate culture and stuff.
yeah, exactly.
Scott.
It's bad to talk
She might
about
not
that.
understand all the aspects of the business and
She
what
would
it takes to
experience.
make all the ball bearings. So she might not understand everything that needs to go in the factory and stuff as well.
Go Scott.
Scott.
So what Parker said, it could also be an advantage in how you look at it, because if she doesn't look at the company as one of the people that have worked their way in it, she has more of a detached look at it with less bias and can maybe make a better decision about it.
Yeah, her emotions don't get in her way of decision making.
Good.
And then I said the advantages were she's more knowledgeable on the current business trends, having gotten her master's. She has a better understanding behind the technology since she is an engineer, and so she doesn't have to leave it up to her engineers and trust them to know what they're doing. She can get in there and be your work. And then working at the investment bank could give her an insight into finances and financial trends. And then the disadvantages were loss of respect and motivation for the factory employees, for Anna, they might not like her, and then less understanding of the workforce and no empathy.
And that's a big thing that is currently happening in business is, people go through, graduate from college, get a master's, have no work experience. I mean, it really anymore is really looked highly upon how much work experience you can lend. You can go to get an MBA and learn out of a textbook, but what can you apply? And it can really threaten other senior individuals in the business.
Yeah.
Good.
And then the last question, to what extent is it important for Anna to have empathy for factory workers? Megan.
Well, it's pretty important because if she doesn't have empathy for them, you might not respect her as much, and so that could be a real downside to the total quality management style, and kind of go against that, I guess.
And especially in a company like this that has been known to have leadership with Valdemar that was so paternalistic, which was his leadership style, and just very definitely empathetic with the workers that worked there and really knew the workers. Going to a leader like that could definitely have negative effects, and they wouldn't respect her like Megan was saying.
That's exactly what I was about to say.
Okay.
Me too.
So I said it was important for the respect and motivation, like you guys said, of the workforce. But then I also said different point of view, the workers are load skilled and they could easily be replaced, so it doesn't really matter what they think, especially if they're going to move the company to Brazil or India. And then if she plans to lay off a bunch of workers due to her lack of empathy, like RBD could receive like really negative publicity, like a poor corporate image. So Anna should like do the shutdown really gradually and like offer like really good severance packages. Like even though it might, initially cost a lot, it'd be worth it for the corporate image. And then, but Anna also can't let the workers hold back the company, but she shouldn't cut them off.
And make sure on a question like to what extent that you show both sides of the coin, even if you personally don't agree with one, because you nailed it. Those factory workers, they're replaceable, and perhaps you could get some PR for something else that you're doing to kind of displace the fact that maybe you're going to lay off a bunch of workers or change management style.
They don't look cool.
Okay.
And then for the real life interpretation, I just kind of looked at the timeline that she was in school and how long she's been working. And it says she started at RBD in 2005, so she's been working at the company for 8 years. And she has, about 6 years of schooling. And she went to school around the time that Total Quality Management actually came out in the early 2000s.
Okay.
And
So what could you imply from that?
like that's kind of what that's what she learned about when she was going through school, so you can assume that she wants to like instigate total quality management in RBD. And then I just said based on the timeline, she probably worked at the investment bank for around 2 years, and she's middle-aged at 38.
Gross.
Is that the real definition of middle-aged?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why would you want to live to be any older than those? 76.
Would anybody ever suggest that maybe TQM is not a method they should employ?
Maybe because how many stages are there in ball bearings?
Is it important to have total quality management in ball bearings? And as we've discussed, ball bearing engineering is pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Well, we think it's
I don't know enough about it.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know how many steps it takes to make a ball bearing.
They've been doing it for years without TQM under, say, quality inspections.
You could probably make more.
Well, you could reduce the overhead maybe, like of all the inspectors.
Not right now, hang on. Because there is an argument to not use TQM. What is it?
Isn't it expensive?
It is expensive.
Make more in less time.
And it's a pretty straightforward process. I mean, they're implying that it's a pretty straightforward operation that's been going on for years. They're not differentiating at this point in time different ball bearings. Can you have low-skilled labor working there? Do you need TQM?
No.
Maybe if you want like the iOS 9000, maybe you do need it.
Maybe if they were making parachutes. But ball bearings are kind of parachute. They want like brakes and stuff. Oh, it looks like your head just got crushed.
What do you think?
We don't know.
True.
There is an argument for not using TQM.
Heavily established, it'd be cheaper, and so there it is.
There it is.
Cheaper. Yeah? Is that wrong?
No, that's correct, but you really have to look at the difference there. They want for you to say employ TQM because, just like Natalie's saying, it is the current style and productions. It's where we are going. However, if you're taking a product that's not changing that much and hasn't changed that much for however many years, there might not be a place for it. It might be too expensive.
Green ball bearings. Make
Okay.
them cardboard.
Anything else? All right, let's give Natalie a hand.